Sandpapergate, the full story of Australian cricket's darkest day. March 24, 2018. Newlands Cricket Ground, Cape Town. Australia's Test series against South Africa is locked at 1 win apiece. The third Test, Day 3. Australian cricket, proud, dominant, untouchable for over a century, is about to fall apart in full view of the world's cameras. By the time the sun sets, it will be the most infamous day in the sport's history. This series was already poisoned before Cape Town began. Days earlier, in Durban, Australian opener David Warner and South African wicketkeeper Quinton de Kock collided in a stairwell during a tea break. Words were exchanged, reportedly about Warner's wife. Warner had to be physically restrained by his own teammates. He was fined 75% of his match fee. The tension between the two sides was already at breaking point. Cape Town would push it past the edge entirely. South Africa bat first. They post 311. Australia respond with 255, already 85 runs behind. By the third day, South Africa are well into their second innings, building an imposing lead. 129 for 2. A lead of 185 runs. Australia are losing. Badly. And somewhere in the Australian dressing room, in a conversation that will define the careers of three men, a decision is made. After the 43rd over of South Africa's innings, television cameras catch something strange. Cameron Bancroft, Australia's young opener, just 25 years old, is rubbing a small yellow object against the cricket ball. He doesn't know it yet, but the broadcast has caught every second of it. Bancroft realizes. His body language shifts instantly, and in the next frame, the cameras catch him shoving the object down the front of his trousers. The umpires approach him. He hands them a dark microfiber pouch from his pocket. He claims it's for cleaning his sunglasses. The umpires inspect the ball. They find nothing conclusive enough to act on. No penalty runs awarded, no replacement ball offered to South Africa. For a few hours, it looks like the moment might simply pass. It will not pass. After play ends, Bancroft is forced to front the media. He admits what the cameras already revealed. He had attempted to alter the condition of the ball. He claims he used sticky tape with dirt particles attached, not sandpaper. Steve Smith, the Australian captain, stands beside him. Smith admits something far more damaging. This wasn't one rogue young player making a panicked decision. It was a plan, conceived, he says, by Australia's leadership group. He doesn't name names. He doesn't need to. The fallout is immediate and ferocious. Australia's Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, calls it a shocking disappointment, and personally phones Cricket Australia's chairman to demand the strongest possible action. The Australian Sports Commission calls for Smith to stand down immediately. Former players, officials, and commentators across the cricketing world condemn the team. This isn't just a rules violation anymore. This is a national reckoning. Smith and Warner are stood down from their leadership roles for the remainder of the match. Tim Paine, the team's wicketkeeper, is installed as acting captain. South Africa, smelling blood, crush the rattled Australians. They win the Test by 322 runs. 3 days later, Cricket Australia's investigation delivers its verdict. Smith, Warner, and Bancroft are charged with bringing the game into disrepute. All three are suspended. All three are sent home from South Africa in disgrace. The investigation reveals the full truth, and it is worse than anyone expected. It wasn't sticky tape. It was sandpaper. And it wasn't Bancroft's idea. The investigation finds that David Warner conceived the plan. He instructed Bancroft to carry it out. He personally demonstrated how to use the sandpaper on the ball. Smith knew about the plan in advance, and did nothing to stop it. The sanctions, when they come, are unprecedented in the history of Australian cricket. Steve Smith, 12 months banned from all international and domestic Australian cricket. David Warner, 12 months banned, and told he will never again be considered for a leadership role on the Australian team. Cameron Bancroft, 9 months banned, the shortest sentence, but enough to see his county contract with Somerset torn up before it even began. The ban is so severe that India's cricket board follows suit, barring Smith and Warner from the Indian Premier League as well. The team Australia sends out for the fourth Test is a shell of itself. Without its captain, its vice-captain, its best two batsmen. South Africa annihilate them by 492 runs, Australia's second heaviest defeat by runs in Test history. It is the price of what happened in Cape Town. Not just suspensions. Not just bans. The complete unravelling of a team that, days earlier, had believed itself untouchable. Head coach Darren Learman is cleared of any direct involvement in the plan. But days later, he announces he will step down anyway. It is the right time to step away, he says. The casualties of Sandpapergate extend far beyond the 3 men suspended. An entire culture, built over years inside Australian cricket, is being publicly dismantled. When Smith, Warner, and Bancroft return to Australia, they face the media one final time. Smith, Australia's captain, one of the greatest batsmen of his generation, breaks down in tears. He says he failed as captain. He says he will have to live with this for the rest of his life. Warner admits he fears he may never play for Australia again. Bancroft, the youngest, the one who was caught on camera, says simply that he let everyone down. For the next 9 to 12 months, 3 of Australia's finest cricketers are exiled to club cricket. Sydney Grade Cricket, Darwin's Strike League, tournaments far removed from the international stage they once dominated. Australia, without them, struggles. They lose 18 of their next 26 matches across all formats. A 5-0 whitewash in England. Defeat after defeat. It isn't until December, 9 months after Cape Town, that Australia wins another Test match. A formal review into Cricket Australia's culture delivers a brutal verdict of its own. The organisation, the review finds, had become arrogant. Win at all costs. A culture where the line between hard cricket and unfair cricket had been allowed to blur for years, until 3 players crossed it in full view of the world. Smith and Warner eventually return. They rebuild their careers, slowly, painfully, under a level of scrutiny no Australian cricketers had ever faced before. But the moment itself, Bancroft's hand on the ball, the yellow tape disappearing into his trousers, Smith's tearful press conference, remains burned into Australian sporting memory. It is remembered not just as cheating. It is remembered as the day Australian cricket looked into a mirror and did not like what it saw. Sandpaper